Hello, welcome to Ones of the Force, the Stars podcast. My name's Phill, of course. I'm joined, as usual, by Dave for our Mandalorian breakdown. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, my friend and brother in the Force. Welcome. Nice to see you again. Weirdly,
Indeed,
not live.
Is. No, it was a wonderful change of pace, of course, over the week to actually see you guys. Of course, it's been 3 years. We'll get on to that when we come to episode 9. Of course, there's a slightly rushed. We all had our schedule slightly messed up for tonight's video, but I'm sure we can manage. It is.
I'm sure we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I have to apologise. George couldn't make this video. He could have made tomorrow's, but between myself, George, and Dave, and our confusion, unfortunately, he won't join us for this video, but he will be with us for episode 9. And of course, this is our last day of videos before our winter break. But before we crack into the rest of it, Dave, thoughts just on this episode, because this is what we've been wanting. This has been good.
Straight out there, I'll put it was my favourite episode of the series so far. I loved this episode. I loved it visually. I loved the story it told. I love how it moved us on. I loved where it left us. Just loved it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the last few episodes, the complaints that I've had specifically, more than the rest of you two, has been lack of story, lack of protagonist, lack of just... Yes, the visuals have been cool. Yes, I like the homages to cinema, with the horror themes we've had, with the Western theme we had with the Gunslinger and last week's episode, respectively. But finally, we've got some story. And for me, this ticked the boxes of story and connecting filler. George didn't fully agree with me, saying connected to all the filler. He felt it only connected one of the episodes, however. And so that's kind of... So that's George's opinion. The rest of it, he liked the episode. It was just, for him, didn't connect as many as it could have done. However, a lot of things to talk about in this particular episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's without doubt, it's going to be a really, really good one. Oh, sorry, just had a comment come straight in. So good evening, guys, from John Parton. Literally cannot wait for your thoughts on the Rise of Skywalker. You are going to get them, my friends. We'll be coming up. So we're doing this show. We'll probably rattle through our thought. This will be probably about half an hour, 40 minutes. We'll have a quick interlude, and then we will be back with our discussion on episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and all we have to say on that.
Indeed, but for now, let's crack on with episode 7 of The Mandalorian. So as I was alluding to earlier, this episode for me had a lot more story involved into it. We finally got to see Moff Gideon, which is Gus from Breaking Bad's character. Again, I still can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, unfortunately, where this has all been so scrambled. However, we finally got to see his character. We finally got some progression. And we also got a couple of cool little Baby Yoda here, kind of did some work in terms of the Force powers as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, we might as well get into it. I mean, for the first time in... not maybe in canon, but the first time in certainly visually and in a movie, TV show, we saw Force healing, and not just helping you out with a little scar, like full on, you're going to die if I don't do this, Force healing, taking every ounce of the scratch that you had from whatever those pterodactyls were.
Indeed. So these things here that weren't quite Minox, but they were big enough to quite literally just rip a blurg off the ground, managed to catch Grief Karga's arm with some sort of poison as well, it seems, from what Cara Dune was saying. She needed a couple of med packs here. The one, of course, he's being very dramatic, and up comes little Baby Yoda. And in something that we're going to allude to for later on, uses this wonderful new ability. Something, as I said, we haven't seen in canon, certainly. Legends, yes. The last time I recall seeing it was in probably one of the Jedi Knight games, but again, that takes me back to the early 2000s. But in terms of canon, no, not even Master Yoda has used this ability in terms of on screen or in a book or a comic that we've seen. I mean, of course, I'm famous here on Once the Force for being in charge of all of our lore and all of the background, and I watch and play as much as I can. Giancarlo Esposito, there you go, plays Gus Gideon. Thank you, Robin, for that one. He means Moff Gideon there, not Gus Gideon, but I know what he means. He's combined the two there. He's combined the two, but thank you very much for that one, Robin. But yes, so certainly going backwards, I cannot recall going through the books and comics seeing Force Heal being used. It's been talked about, But again, it's something that we've not come across before. So this was cool. Also, I want to go back to another different Force power, which was Force Choke, which you seeing Baby Yoda use Force Choke was brilliant.
It was bizarre just having an arm wrestle, Cara Dune and the Mandalorian, obviously just on the ship, just having a bit of fun. And then, Baby Yoda seems to think he's in danger and just literally starts to force choke the crap out of her.
He does indeed. It's one of those little things you don't expect it. I mean, we know that he's a troublemaker. You know that he's just he is kind of comic relief, but at the same time, you know he is integral to the story. But to see him first off, actually, if we're going to talk about him being a troublemaker, I've got to bring this up as well. I mean, just seeing him go, he pokes his head down to see if they're busy. They're distracted looking at shiny toys, so he goes and plays with the biggest toy of all, which is the ship. Which again is just absolutely fantastic. Before he then goes and so going, yeah.
The whole Baby Yoda in this episode, I thought was really well played. That he's coming more as a character rather than just the child that they're looking after. Loved his interaction. I love that the moment when he looked down, his head just dropped down to see what they were doing before he started messing with the ship. Was a brilliant moment, like a proper laugh out loud. Oh my god, what's he going to do? And you knew he was up to some form of mischief. But I don't think he is. He's maybe like he's learning and he's gaining more experience around the ship, so he's flipped buttons to make songs come on according to the internet, but to make that thing fly. So I'm really enjoying the portrayal of the character in this episode. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Indeed. So we might as well get back to the start of the episode. The premise, of course, of this at the moment is at the start of the episode, Grief Karga messages Mando and goes, "Hey, good to see you still alive. However, things have kind of gotten bad for us here. We know you're on the run. We know the Imperials are after you. If you come back to Navarro, maybe we can work something out. Maybe we can take out the Imperial. We need you to come back, basically. He's not in a good place. We don't know exactly what's happened yet, and we get to that. I love the build-up of this episode. They go along, the more and more you go into the episode, the more and more the danger ramps up, and we'll get to that in a bit. So, of course, at this point, Mando goes, well, I can't just take the child there. I need help. So he goes back to Sargon to go and get Cara Dune, and then he goes back to, I can't remember the name of the planet, where he finds Queel, which now we know we've had his name kind of in the credits before, but now we know the correct pronunciation being Queel, so that for me is good, so I can hopefully no longer butcher it. And surprise, surprise, pleasantly for me, IG-11 was back.
It was a lovely thing to see him. I wasn't expecting that at all, for it to be around still. I love the total distrust that the Mandalorian has from as soon as he was back in screen, that he just wanted him to destroy what we're dead, because he knows that he's basically a murder bot that's out to kill. I think he used the line, I don't care how many new wires he's got inside him, that thing's programmed to kill. I just thought it was a really nice touch, the distrust that he has with him. But I really, really, really enjoyed that he was back in the episode. I love that he's been reprogrammed, I like the learning he was doing as well. I thought it was a really nice scene of him.
And I also thought that Queen was like, I can program him for nursing and protocol, which is, to me, is just the hilarity of, I love murder droids, it's well known as Shell, but to see IG-11 nursing Baby Yoda, it's this weird image in my mind that I cannot get out and do not want to get out of my head. It's a great image and fantastic to see. And so yes, having good old, where is he, IG-11 back. I have lost my little place in my little notes. Here we go. Having good old IG-11 back. Offering tea as well. If anyone in our audience has ever watched Doctor Who, especially of the latter years, in one of Matt Smith's episodes from series 5, you have a Dalek who offers tea. This to me was the exact same scenario, with IG-11 going, would you care for some tea? It's just fantastic. But then, of course, they go back to Navarro, land the ship. You have Grief Karga waiting there. He gets, obviously with security detail, and then of course they have to go to the town, which is when on the way they stop off camp and get attacked by these little pterodactyls, these little giant pterodactyl slash Minox slash things with these really cool little red eyes that literally steal Blurg. Then of course we get the Force power, and then of course we get to the city. Now this for me is when the episode really starts to ramp up. So first off, at this point you can see how he was going to betray them. He was very clearly going to go, I'm just going to stab you in the back here and take you out, take the child, get my money, and get rid of the problems here, which I saw coming, but I also like the fact that he just turned on, no, this charge somehow has saved my life, therefore, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very obvious that it was literally, it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap. All the way through, you knew what was going to happen. You knew at some point they were going to turn on him. I liked that then juxtaposition of, well, maybe Yoda or the child saved me, so I couldn't go through with that side of it, and wipes out 2 of his guild members, just like that, just, yep, that's fine. Rather than like just discussing with him offside, no, it's all right, he healed us now, let's not kill him. Just like, I'll just kill them, it's fine. But yeah, exactly. It was nice for that to happen, and then obviously we got back to the main city, and that's where stuff got real.
Indeed. So at this particular point, they come up with a new plan, which is to take Mando in. They deliberate them between themselves. Basically, the whole plan is to get Mando in with Cara Dune and Grief. They'll kill the Imperial Warlord. They'll send the child back with Quill to the ship. Everything will be golden. At this point, all they've been told is there are 4 stormtroopers. That's all he has. Is 4 of this. That's all you're gonna watch. 4 stormtroopers. Okay, you're good. It's 4 stormtroopers, which is like, okay, a shock trooper and Mando are overkill for 4 stormtroopers, right? Get to the front of the gate, and oh no, wait a second. Here are 2 scout troopers on bikes and a crap ton of stormtroopers.
It's amazing. I love the 2 biker scouts waiting at the very entrance of the town. And I thought it was a really nice touch. And you're right, as they go through town, it's literally just stormtrooper, more stormtroopers, the stormtroopers. Just
it's pretty
everywhere.
much it's pretty much that scene from Robot Chicken. It's like stormtrooper, my lord, stormtrooper,
yeah.
my lord.
it's obviously fully now under what would have been Imperial rule, but obviously,
I love the little joke
to the client.
So I love the little joke between the scout trooper and Mando. It's like, I'll give you 20 credits for the helmet. It's like, that's going on my wall. He's like, your wall? Go with it. But it is that 20 credits for a Beskar helmet. Are you kidding me? It's like, it's insulting at the same time. I love that little, like, $20. It's like, I want to replace my bucket with that thing. That thing looks better than this.
Yes.
That's kind of cool. Of course, then you get into the meeting. So it's the first time we've seen the client since, what, episode 2? 3?
But yeah, when you first took him back to
episode 3, yeah.
So it has been a little while. It's nice that he's in the bar where they first started this out, where he gets all his jobs from, and they start going ahead with what looks like it's going to be the plan, whether it's going to work or not. Because obviously he's got him handcuffed, but not really. Waiting to give him his weapon back, which is a really nice. They was unarmed when he's inside the bar as well, and being held, looking like he's going to be captive. And obviously this is all just a ploy to kill the client. And that, well, it does happen, but not how they expected.
But not the way you think. So right as he's about to check for the baby, we then finally get to see Moff Gideon is finally introduced for saying, have you got the Chars? And yes, it's just sleeping. He goes, you might want to check again. And then all hell breaks loose. Absolute carnage. They don't know what the hell's going on. They've just been completely shot up the place. That's what I didn't. You kind of watch it going, what is going on? You know something's going down. You know that at this point, Moff Gideon's basically had enough. You now know the client isn't the be-all and end-all. You know there's something now bigger behind it. And of course, we then get to what is collectively here, Ones of the Force, one of our favourite things, Death Troopers.
Oh, what a wonderful shot this was. To see those Death Troopers just lined up, all that destruction that had just happened inside the bar they were in was caused by these 5-6 Death Troopers who've just shot through the walls of the cantina they're in. And it's beautiful to see them. They're exactly as they were in Rogue One. There's no difference. Even the weapons that they've got as well are all from Rogue One still, so it's like they've been kept exactly as they were, even though we haven't seen them for all of the original trilogy era. They've not been around, so it was really, really nice to see them again.
Yeah, got a comment here from Robert saying the old Wookiee prisoner gang, but yeah, it's pretty much an homage there to episode 4. And why not? It works. We all know it works. But yeah, it's fantastic to see that. But yes, of course, we have the Death Troopers, and then something that we will definitely appreciate is this, which is the transport from Rebels. That, of course, has now been transferred into live action, the troop transport / prisoner transport, which I didn't expect them to, I mean, this scene we know was coming in terms of when they originally were talking about the Mandalorian. They said we needed so many stormtroopers, we didn't know where to get them from, so they used the 5 first. So this is the first instance we're seeing of that. But before we get onto that, this transport, again, something that was created for Rebels has come into the live action world. I thought it looked fantastic.
Well, not created for Rebels specifically. Well, it was created for Rebels, but it was actually originally a Kenner toy. And that's where the design from Rebels came from an old Kenner toy that you put the Stormtroopers in, and they took that design. But then again, yeah, you're right. So from a toy, then brought into Rebels by Filoni, and now taking it this live action show, also with Filoni behind it, as well as Favreau. So yeah, they bringing in these things that viewers who are mainly watching this program, who are going to be around those people who've with here for the original trilogy and the original sort of toys. It's nice to get these little things, but who knew it held like not just 6 Stormtroopers in those doors. Like, it must be about 50, 60 Stormtroopers pile out the thing, like a clown car for Stormtroopers.
Pretty much. You have one coming from one side, you have them all piling in from the other side, and eventually you also have a TIE Fighter lander. We'll get into the TIE Fighter in a second. They end up basically with this image here, which is, well, Lord knows how many Stormtroopers, plus Death Troopers, and then the TIE Fighter. So, of course, this wasn't... Well, you see the image we have in front of you. Those on the audio, I will do my best to describe it. You have a TIE Fighter that has landed, but it's an original TIE LN box standard TIE Fighter model, although it appears to be, with its wings fold down to a V formation with 4 landing struts underneath it. I just lost it at this particular point, being a fan of Pleasant Play Expo, being a fan of TIE Fighters. That was just so cool.
Not something I didn't expect. Obviously, when you see it flying in and see a classic TIE Fighter, you're like, okay, that's going to be cool. But then you've got to think to yourself, yeah, of course, if that lands and he doesn't have a ladder with him, how on earth does he get down?
Now, you see, so I was talking with some friends of mine who about the Mandalorian. They talk about this TIE Fighter. I said, well, you just need a ladder. I mean, I was like, you can't carry a ladder in space. That's not how this works. How else are you supposed to get out of the thing? So that's how, of course, you get to that. But it's just this, again, so the TIE Outlander we knew was coming because we had it leaked in some merchandise with that T-shirt with the TIE Outlander on it. So this is just a regular TIE LN Outlander model. However, I thought originally that was just going to be this standard, it's just a production model. I didn't realize it was going to be a TIE Fighter with foldable S-foils.
Nah, I love when the wings start falling. It's like, oh, that's brilliant. And of course, it makes total sense that you'd have that to work that way, so you just get out as you need to. I thought it was a really well done thing to not have to bring out a new design of TIE Fighter, if you know what I mean. So they could still use an old TIE Fighter. They've gone, right, we're going to land him in this. He needs to be able to get out, and what do we do? And of course, the natural thing to go is, oh, you just fold the wings. There's a natural point where these could just fold in, and you get out. I really, really loved it.
Indeed. So, literally about to put that up. So, amazing, the holocaust standing up from inside that TIE Fighter. Well, it's not only that, it's the fact that afterwards he just rises out of this TIE Fighter, just seemingly on a podium, which is like, how? I mean, I like it, but how is this happening? It's just like, this TIE Fighter isn't just your regular TIE Fighter. This is a dramatic entrance TIE Fighter. It's just you want to make an impact? Fine. Land, fold your wings, and rise up like the phoenix from the ashes. It's just like, yep, here I am, deal with me. Which, again, was fantastic. It looks so cool. How many in production? We'll never know, I guess. But then, of course, you finally have Moff Gideon striding through, and it's just, finally we have our protagonist. Finally we have our main villain. Yes, the client was cool, but to have this behind it, bring it on. Bring it on.
I love his line as well. He was saying, look, you don't know what you've got, although they're obviously getting more aware of what they've got. Yeah. And I kind of going back to the child, they're now starting to find out more and more. They still don't talk about, one, knowing what the creature is. So Yoda is obviously not.
TIE-TARDIS, I completely approve of this message. And of course, this is just a regular TIE Fighter. This is an M&S TIE Fighter. Yes, Robin, yes, exactly what I was angling for right there. Sorry, go back to the child. Yes, Dave.
Yeah, so I think they obviously know they don't know they don't know Yoda. So you would have thought if he was the leader of the Jedi, that he would have been more prominent, like especially the Mandalorian who grew up through the Clone Wars, that he might know of the species and of the Force, but they seem very much unaware of it, of what's going on at all with this child. Apart from obviously now they've seen it heal, they've seen it force choke someone. The Mandalorian's seen it stop the horn,
the mud horn, yep,
the mud horn from running at him. So they're getting these hints at this higher power, but they've never kind of gone into it any further than that. But it seems that Moff Gideon knows exactly what this child is.
Yeah, which again, considering the Doctor we had in the first couple episodes being from well, what appears to be Camino to everything else. This is really rampant, especially considering now, especially what we know about episode 9, which we won't talk about here. We'll save for our spoiler show afterwards. Again, those are the comments. Please don't spoil episode 9 for those who haven't watched it yet. Save that, please, for our spoiler show later on. And then those of you on audio, again, don't forget we will be releasing that later on. So just wait for that, download that, listen to it at your leisure. But just as a service announcement, please, for those none of you, spoil it in the comments for anyone else, of course, out there. But yes, correctly back on what I was saying. Yes, we've had the Force powers. We now know we've seen Force choke. We've seen him Force heal. We would have seen it in episode 1 now. We kind of see where they were angling at with that before. And we've seen hints here and there. So it appears Gideon knows more than he's letting on. And even then, he's letting on and going, I know a lot more than you. And this particular point as well, we've had Queel running back to the ship with the child. So the child's supposed to be protected at this point. However, we've had the two biker scouts go after him. And shall we, unfortunately, talk about probably the saddest moment in this entire episode?
Yeah, in memoriam. We need a music and a montage. But it's you see the biker scouts chasing him down. You see how close he's getting to the Razor's crest. Closer and closer. These speeder bikes are closing down, like literally gunning down. And then we get the shot where we see the child on the floor.
Yep.
And then it gets picked up by one of the biker scouts on the speeder bike and zooms off. And then we get this awful shot, but beautiful shot of one of our lead characters dead on the floor.
All the meanwhile, you have Mando on the comlink going,
screaming,
have you made it? Are you there? They're coming for you.
Yeah.
And I didn't think they would do it. I thought he may just make it. IG-11 may just save him somehow, but this then...
Yeah, IG-11's a rubbish protector. He said he would protect them.
Well, no, that's the whole point. IG-11 was locked on the ship. IG-11 was locked on it. So that's the whole point. Mando didn't trust him, therefore it cost him the child. I think that's going to be the angle they're going to go with here. But it's not good. At this particular point, now, of course, now this is where it angles. Do they get him back? So just to go, the Force isn't inherently light or dark. Baby Yoda is just in the Force. Yeah, completely agree with you there. Again, really something I will touch on later on. But though the Force is, it's a living entity. It combines all beings. It surrounds us. It penetrates us. That's the whole point of the living Force. The Force isn't inherently. It's like a droid, as Queel said about the droid. Droids aren't inherently good or evil. They are neutral tools that are then used by other people. The Force is much the same. It's not inherently good or evil. It's just used by those for their own intent, whether that be for good, evil, or even in between, whether you're Force sensitive or whether you're full Jedi Sith, or even if you have latent Force and you don't even know about it. Everyone in the Star Wars universe is connected by the Force in some way or another. So again, it's just proving that point. It's not inherently good or evil. It's just neutral.
I completely agree with the side on that and the Force, and I think we'll get into that a lot later in our next video that we do. But going back to our loss of Queel in this episode, I didn't expect to lose a main character at any point during this. I did think we'd move on, and this is our first episode where we finish on a real cliffhanger that we have no idea. Obviously, they're locked down surrounded by a battalion of stormtroopers and death troopers stuck inside of a bar. The child has been taken, and I'm guessing that's going back to Moff Gideon. We'll be taking him straight there. Oh, we lost the client as well, but I guess we're going to lose him no matter what. Either the Mandalorian was going to get rid of him, or, as I say, Moff Gideon did.
Oh, his days were numbered.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a really big moment to lose a character that, I guess, he only appeared in sort of 2 episodes sort of briefly, but I didn't expect to lose him. If anyone, I thought we might lose IG-88, like IG-11 again.
Yeah.
That he might be the one to go down, and that might give the Mandalorian a bit more sort of, and a bit more trust in the character, and he did go out to protect. But when he didn't, and we've just lost someone that the Mandalorian had a lot of respect for as well, not just a random person. He trusted him with the child, so it was a really big moment for me.
Especially when it was that whole, I'm retired, there's nothing you can do to persuade me to come out of retirement. It's now that whole, I was just 2 days away from retirement all over again. Comes out of retirement. Yeah, exactly. Comes out of retirement for one last job and snuffs it. It's not good. And you end up feeling, Queel is one of those characters that you end up, again, not only the characters, but I feel is like, a lot of respect for. He's gone, I will help you where I need to be. But at the end of it, no, I've got my life. I'm happy to leave it be. I'm happy to help you, but for now, just leave me in peace. And you go, okay, but all right, fine, I'll come with. But however, we're taking my blurgs. They're coming with me.
Yeah, he was really, really desperate to have those blurgs with him.
I have spoken. It was just like the blurgs are going. I have spoken. Done.
So yeah, it's just left us now in this really. I'm desperate for episode 8, and we have to wait until next Friday for it. So we've got less than a week before we see, but just less than a week. So I honestly don't quite know where the episode's going to go. I expected that sort of finish for episode 8. I expect us to be left in a cliffhanger because we know season 2 is in production. I expect to be left not knowing what was going to happen. But for that to have happened now, I can't see them closuring off this story in the next episode. I honestly don't know where we're going to go.
Indeed. So, interesting comment here from Jimmy going, only one episode left to pay off the boot spurs. So, of course, I think it's referring to the end of the episode, a couple episodes back, where you had just someone turn up and turn over Wayne's character. Can't remember off the top of my head for a moment. But yes, I don't think they will. I think they may leave that for season 2, and if not, I reckon it's just Moff Gideon. I don't think it'll be another bounty hunter by this point. I think they've kind of gone past that point now.
You know what? I think it's. I think we could get something different. I think we'll find out if that was Moff Gideon the moment we see him on ground. Once we see him walk, we'll know straight away it was or it wasn't. If it was, I'm guessing when he starts his walk towards the bar, if that's where they still are at the start of next episode, we'll get that spur noise.
Yeah.
If we don't, then we know it's purposefully done. And it's absolutely Cad Bane, and he'll be appearing in season 2 as our new main protagonist, which would be amazing. But yeah, so I think we might get some more of that. I really do hope we get more of that. And I just, I'm in this place now where I want so much to happen, and we've got one episode to do it in. I really hope we're getting more than a 38-minute episode next week. I really, really do.
Yeah. I really hope we get an hour. I really hope we get an hour.
It'd be lovely, yeah. I really can't see how in 38 minutes you can finish this. Either finish the story arc out or give us to a point where we move the story on enough to give us a further cliffhanger bigger than the one we had in the last episode.
Yeah.
But can I just say, of the season as a whole, the 2 episodes that have been directed by Deborah Chow have been absolutely my favorite episodes of this series. She has knocked these out of the park, and this one again, right up there.
She's doing Kenobi.
Exactly. Exactly. She's done such good work. I can't wait to see what she does with the Obi-Wan Kenobi character and how she puts that. This series has looked amazing, but she has done exceptional work.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just the production value's been incredible. I mean, you can tell where the money's been spent. So take such a high-profile director, it would be a crime not to give him at least an hour. Agreed. I also just think for story's sake, you need to be able to pace it well and give resolution to what you can give resolution to, and set up for season 2. So you need a chunk of time for that.
Yeah.
And if anyone can do it, Taika can. However, what I would say is, apart from a couple of bits here and there, I would give any of these directors the time to finish it.
Oh, yeah.
All the episodes so far have been very well shot, very well produced. I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard's episode was fantastic although it was very Jurassic Park, but I may not give her the finale, but I'd be happy for her to come back for season 2.
Yeah, none of these have been an issue for me. The only one I've had major problems with is, unfortunately, was Filoni's second episode where we went back to Tatooine, but that was just because I didn't want to go back to Tatooine at that point. Yeah.
Well, for me, as we spoke about that episode at length. It's the only one that all 3 of us kind of were a bit meh by, and that's because, again, it was just too cheesy, full of too many references, cheap shots with bad acting, and it wasn't necessarily a bad episode if you look at it individually, but when you look at it in context of the entire series, yeah, it's the worst one of them all. But that's still like saying, it's like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good. It was, it was a good episode in a way, but compared to some later ones we had, especially last week's episode, which was just fantastically done, and this episode, which again leaves us with an incredible cliffhanger, it's just that in that context. But Filoni's first episode, because the opening one was just again incredible. So I'm just excited to where this leaves us for next week.
I really can't wait to sit down, get the episode, get off the plane, have a scrunch my toes in the carpet to calm myself down, and then Die Hard, and then watch the finale of season 1 of the Mandalorian. This has flown through. I mean, it's 8 episodes. It was always going to go through really quickly. It's Blitz Pie much quicker than I thought it was
Blitz
going.
Pie?
In.
That sounds good.
I thought he was going to let it go and it would have been fine, Phil. No, you had to jump on it. Oh.
It's Once of the Force. Do we ever let anything go? No.
No, you're right. Absolutely not. No.
I mean,
we are Star Wars fans after all. We don't let things go. Apparently.
Exactly. I mean, we all remember what happened when my microphone failed and had that horrific fart noise. Did you guys ever let that go? No. It's still talked about to this day. It still happens.
Because it was brilliant.
It was fantastic.
But so yeah, I mean, this episode for me is it's superb. Just so well done. Every plot point was great. There was nothing in there that dragged. This was a half hour where I was just in it for the whole thing, and I was desperate for the next thing to get through. George has joined. Obviously, we will be getting ready for our episode 9 spoiler discussion coming up straight after this show. So yeah, George, Babu Frick, better than Baby Yoda. We'll take it off the screen right now.
We'll debate that next. However, though, I gotta say, here we go. Blitz Pie with blue milk, and Robert saying first green milk. But either way, Blitz Pie is now a thing and it's here to stay. Sorry, Dave.
Well, I used to like you all. But anyway.
But yes, the 8 weeks have absolutely flown by. Of course, we have Resistance to keep us going. We won't be here for our review on Monday. We'll come back to that after our winter break. But yeah, this is the one thing we've all been waiting for as a live-action TV show. And so far, not disappointed. Not disappointed at all.
There's nothing to... if this is the quality that we're going ahead with, I can't wait for Kenobi and Cassian. A Cassian series isn't something I was overly needing, but if they're going to do it this well, I'm quite happy and quite open to it all.
This is the thing with Star Wars, it has to be done this well. You have to have this level of quality, time and money spent on it. If you don't, if you give a subpar product, we all know what happens with the toxic side of the fan base. Star Wars needs to have that level of care.
There's a toxic side of the fan base, really? I've never heard from them.
Yeah, we'll get on that, especially with our next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, look, let's get back to this. And I think we've kind of covered the main things. It wasn't massively, again, with these episodes, they're not massive story heavy.
No.
I need you to come back. Going to go back. I need you to kill a client. Moff Gideon turns up. Cliffhanger is really sort of the beats of the episode, and it hit everyone. And I need to know what happens. If any harm comes to the child under my watch, I will go find.
There will be riots. Myself. There will be riots. If they harm a single hair on his wrinkled head, there will be riots. We all well know this to be true. It has to be a thing. I think editing, closing thoughts basically on this episode. I think that's about it for this particular one.
Yeah, it's been excellent. I love this episode. I can't wait to watch it a couple more times to get me through till next Friday when we see the finale. And that blows my mind that we're going to be seeing the final episode of this show for series next week. Yeah. Brilliant. Bring it on. More of this, just more of the same. More troopers, more Mandalorian, more explosions, more ties with folding wings. I absolutely adored it. Bring it all on.
Indeed. So, the only thing I'll say is before I end up doing our outros, the finale, of course, is next Friday the 27th. We haven't decided when we'll be doing the review for that. We're going to have our break. We will have families and loved ones to see over the Christmas period. We will keep you all posted. We may do a video, we may not. We may just do a little later, but that's something we will discuss behind the scenes and let you guys know. But look, just so you know, there will be a video. We just haven't decided when it will be. But of course, as I said, we will be back for that. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Once the Force of Stars Podcast, at the Force Podcast. You can find the video for this later on our YouTube and Facebook pages, and you can find the audio version on our Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes. Until then, we've been Once the Force. We're forced to be with you. Good night.